now that on my graphic organizer here, I have my text evidence, and I have my vocabulary, and I have my transition phrases into my text evidence, I now need to think, okay, I need to analyze. The whole point of the text-dependent analysis, I need to analyze it in my brain and say, okay, this is what I'm thinking. So this analysis, these are your thoughts, your thinking from your brain. Okay, so when I'm talking about the king, and I want to even go back and look at this evidence real quick. When they meet in the story, the king says, so I'm looking at slide 11 and 12, he says, earned, he replied, don't you know that kings do not sweat to earn money like ordinary people? And that, what were the other two that I used from this slide? I know it's from this slide. Okay, get the money, king had never, okay. Get the money that I have earned. So the king is, like, there is a goodness to the king because he has this promise. He made a vow that a needy person would never go empty-handed. That's a good thing. So he then makes a new promise to Ramdan that he is going to go and earn this money. So he promises, but then he had never in his whole life lifted a finger to do any kind of work. So I need to talk about why he needed this tutor. So when I go in here, I do find that this is going to put me behind that vocab box. So I'm going to slide this over here so I can see it. Okay, and I'm going to say the king had never earned money before. He was shocked that someone would want that or would value that. He needed to learn this lesson himself. He needed to learn the value of hard work himself. So then in the end, at the end of my paragraph, when I'm putting this together, I could then, my concluding sentence could be, since he needed to learn this lesson himself, this is why he asked Ramdan to be the tutor for his son. So the transition phrase would be something going from earned. This lets the reader know that, and then that the king had never earned money before. That he was shocked that someone, so that's a good transition phrase. And this transition phrase, the whole point of it is to let the reader of your essay know, ooh, I'm going to tell you what I think now. So then the next thing, looking at how he was wise. Okay, so on slide 10, going back, he tells us the fact, what did I put in? I want to make sure that I'm matching this well. He frowned on slide 10. He frowned. And then he's talking about how kings get their money by taxing their poor subjects or by looting their enemies in battle. Then he'd rather remain poor than take money this way. So this is going back to the fact that he is wise. So this lets the readers know that Ramdan values or thinks about where the money came from. I'm going to keep using his name. And here's why I'm going to keep using his name. If I use he, and I'm talking about the king, and I'm talking about Ramdan, I want to make sure that it's 100% clear to the reader of my essay who I mean. He knows money is not the most important thing. it takes courage. But I want to talk about how he's wise. Was he courageous? Yes. Does that answer my question? Not necessarily. He shared that knowledge with the king. Okay? So this transition phrase shows this transition phrase this shows readers. So again, readers, not I. We're not making I statements. You're making statements in the third person. This shows readers. And then that's it. That's all the transition phrase that I need. Last thing, end of the folktale. Looking at the lessons taught, what was learned, things about hard labor, hard work. These are the things that I should focus on here. So in terms of my analysis, I should be saying things like the coins from hard work grew from the coins earned. I could even say this wouldn't really happen, but it shows the beauty of what comes from working hard. Wouldn't you want your... I'm going to say the king wants this lesson for his own sons. My transition phrase could be the ending shows readers. And that would be a good transition phrase. Okay, so we have all of that filled in for our analysis of this text evidence.